I heard a whisper in the dark that promised secrets no one should ever know. It all began on a chilly autumn night when the wind howled through the trees like lost souls crying in despair. In a small town where every dust brought shivers and murmurs of the past, 17-year-old Lucy ventured out to gather courage and seek the truth about the legend of Blackwood Grove, a place whispered about on nights like this. Lucy had always felt drawn to the unknown. Rumors had long circulated that those who entered Blackwood Grove after midnight never came back the same. Some said they heard voices that lured them deeper into the forest, never to be heard again. Others claimed they saw ghostly figures moving among the gnarled trees. But tonight, determined to prove the legends false, Lucy packed her flashlight and notebook and stepped into the dark. The path into the grove was narrow, flanked by ancient oaks whose twisted branches seemed to reach out like bony fingers. The moon was a mere sliver in the sky, barely illuminating the worn trail. The only sound was the crunch of fallen leaves under her sneakers and the distant hoot of an owl. As Lucy moved deeper into the grove, an inexplicable chill washed over her. It was as if the darkness itself whispered secrets from a time long forgotten. Suddenly, the silence broke, a soft, almost inaudible murmur that seemed to call her name. She stopped and listened. "Lucy!" The voice breathed, carried by the wind. Her heart pounded, but curiosity pushed her forward. The deeper she went, the stranger the forest became. The trees grew denser, the air thicker. Lucy's flashlight flickered occasionally, casting long, dancing shadows that twisted and contorted. In the distance, she spotted a small clearing where the ground was bare, as if someone had deliberately cleared it long ago. In the center stood a weathered stone pedestal, half swallowed by moss and ivy. The whisper seemed to rise around it, as if guarding an ancient secret. Lucy approached the pedestal slowly. The murmurs grew louder, turning into a chorus of soft voices all around her. The voices spoke in a language she could not understand, but one word repeated over and over: "Remember." Every time the word echoed, Lucy's mind filled with blurry images. A family laughing by a fire, a woman crying in the pouring rain, a man staring into the abyss. They were memories that did not belong to her, but felt hauntingly familiar. Suddenly, one voice cut through the din, a clear, distinct voice that spoke right to her. "Don't forget me, Lucy!" Her breath caught in her throat. How could it know her name? She looked around, but there was no one. The pedestal seemed to vibrate slightly beneath her touch. Instinctively, she reached out and brushed her fingers against the cool, damp stone. A sudden flash of light exploded in her vision, and for a brief moment, everything went white. When Lucy's sight cleared, she found herself no longer in the clearing, but in what appeared to be an old, abandoned room. Dust motes danced in beams of pale light streaming through broken windows. Faded photographs lined the walls, and an antique mirror, cracked and dusty, stood on a battered dresser. In the mirror's reflection, Lucy saw not only herself, but a faint figure standing behind her. She spun around quickly, empty air. The mirror, however, held the image of a solemn woman with tear-filled eyes, reaching out as if to bridge a gap between worlds. Lucy whispered, "Who are you?" The image in the mirror did not answer, but the same clear voice resounded. "I am the memory you must keep, of the ones who were lost." A cold sensation ran down her spine as she realized the truth. Blackwood Grove was not cursed by ghosts or demons. It was a place where the souls of the forgotten gathered, a sacred space to preserve the memories of those the world had left behind. The woman in the mirror appeared to be their leader, a guardian of remembrance. Determined and trembling with both fear and compassion, Lucy searched the dusty room. In a small drawer, she found a leather-bound journal with an inscription on the cover, "For those who have been forgotten." Inside the journal were letters and sketches, recounting stories of lives that once flourished in the town, now lost to time and neglect. Each entry told of love and joy, sorrow and loss, spoken in gentle, inked words. As Lucy pored over these memories, the voices in the darkness grew softer and more harmonious. They were grateful. They were relieved that someone had finally listened. The woman in the mirror smiled sadly, and Lucy felt a peaceful warmth seep into her. It was as if the weight of all the lost souls was finally lifted by her acknowledgement. In that quiet, abandoned room, Lucy made a silent promise. She would remember. She would honor every forgotten voice and every untold story. She knew that she could never bring them back, but she could ensure that they were never truly lost. With trembling hands, she wrote her own entry in the journal, a simple declaration that all these lives mattered, that their memory would live on. Before Lucy knew it, the room began to fade, the dusty interiors dissolving into the cool, dark night of Blackwood Grove. She blinked, and suddenly, she was once more standing in the clearing by the old pedestal. The voices were gone, replaced by the soft rustling of leaves in the wind. In her hand, she still clutched the leather-bound journal, now carrying the weight of countless memories. Lucy took a deep breath. The fear that once paralyzed her had been replaced by a quiet determination. The night was deep and mysterious, but she had found a glimmer of hope in its darkness. It was a promise that even in the scariest shadows, there is a light if we choose to remember. She turned back toward the path leading out of the grove. With each step, the whispers faded, yet the legacy of Blackwood Grove and its voices would echo in her heart forever. Lucy knew that she would return, and each time, she would bring new stories, ensuring that the night's secrets and the souls of the forgotten were never laid to rest in silence. In the darkness, every whisper holds a memory, and every memory lights the way to a new dawn. That was the thought at the back of her mind.